It's okay. Several years ago, I was driving on the highway when there was a sudden torrential downpour and severe flash flooding. This is when I was living in New York, and anytime it rained on Long Island, there always seemed to be some sort of flooding, and this was a ridiculously massive downpour. Everyone began taking the exit to the old abandoned Pilgrim State Psychiatric facility because the highway was flooded. I followed a line of cars, and once we entered the complex, it started raining even harder. I just wanted to pull off to the side of the road because I could barely see anything from the rain, and I wasn't familiar with the area. I could just vaguely make out the taillights right in front of me, and that was about it, so I couldn't tell where it was even safe to pull over. So I was driving slowly and following this whole line of cars, and suddenly I couldn't see the taillights in front of me anymore, and I felt myself driving downward. I ended up driving into what was pretty much a lake of water that had formed because it was an extremely depressed section of the road. I had been following a whole line of cars, but now there was no one in front of me and no one behind me. I was all alone. I put the window down and saw that I had driven into water so deep that it was nearly to the bottom of my window. The water was rushing quickly into the car, so I knew I would have to crawl out the window, and I was freaking out. I had been on my way to a friend's house, so I called him in a panic to let him know what had happened, and he said he would come to get me. I was about to crawl out the window when I felt this weird need to look in my rearview mirror. Now, I was in a complete state of panic, but there was a moment where I had this creepy feeling of chills. When I looked in my rear view, I saw two figures approaching through the downpour and down the hill. Here I am about to drown in a car, and I'm completely alone. There are no other cars around, and I'm in an abandoned psychiatric complex that is said to be haunted. And now these two figures are approaching, and I'm terrified. As they get closer, I see that they are two men, and they begin to push my car up the hill and out of the water. They didn't say anything, they just started pushing. When we got to the top of the hill, I got out of the car to thank them. One man was dressed all in white, and the other all in black. I said, "Thank you so much for helping me." It was so strange and creepy. They were just standing there, completely still and expressionless, and they said nothing. I felt another chill go down my spine. Then I heard my name called from the other side of the hill. I turned, and it was my friend who had come to help me. When I turned back, the two men were walking away, and they seemed to just dissipate, like they just disappeared and vanished. I turned back toward my friend, who had made his way through the water and was walking toward me. I asked him if he saw me talking to two men when he pulled up, and he said he didn't see anyone there but me. I felt like I was going crazy, and I had this weird feeling, and I still do, like it was all a dream. I know there have been plenty of ghost stories about the old abandoned Pilgrim State Psychiatric facility, so I call these two men that saved me my ghosts of Pilgrim State.